Hayden's Magic School for Girls Paranormal Romance Fiction Novella Copyright Cupiderosbooks, Sunday, August 9th, 2015 11, 372 words. Description: when Ileana discovers Colton, her boyfriend, went to battle the evil wizard Yule on Red Bright Mountain, she is pulled into the fray to save her boyfriend from trying to prove to her he is worthy of marriage and love. Chapter 1. In her Hayden Magic School for Girls bedroom, 22-year-old Ileana meditated floating upside down. Daisy, I still don't see how Hayden, our schoolmaster, can't think girls will never amount or do anything important for the Hayden Magic School for Girls. Green meditation lights suffused Ileana's room, giving the room a nice warm glow. All the halls of the 200-year-old school, except the bathrooms, smooth coat of egg white magic paint. Girls' bathroom painted pink. Boys' bathroom painted blue. 115 years ago, Hayden, the head schoolmaster for Hayden Magic School for Girls, tried to paint the bathrooms white, but the girls' performance dropped. A similar reaction happened at the Jenny Magic School for Boys next door. In fact, the two schools were linked by a long hallway occupied by only the girls' and boys' bathrooms and pink and blue lockers. Schoolmaster Hayden and schoolmistress Jenny wanted to make sure each gender met and mixed for brief amounts of times, to curb a tendency of students creating strange myths about the other strange gender. Myths built magic and weakened it, if improperly handled. Ileana's half-almond-shaped eyelids flitted back and forth as she stared inward, meditating. So many things happen these days and none of them good. Yule, a former student, now a powerful evil wizard, out to change the Hayden School for Girls into something better. Something, he said, to build up the girls' agency and make them really brave. Hayden had his doubts. No girl actually had produced anything but become housewives. Yule constantly taunted the boys in the Jenny Magic School for Boys next door. To increase the chaos, Colton, her boyfriend, vowed to win her love by doing something brave. He didn't know what he had said 4 days ago. Ileana got a bad feeling in her guts about this, but shrugged off the boast. Boys and men always boast. Daisy had gone to sleep near her nest. Daisy, the 6-inch-long, 2-feet-high magical green dragon with blue spikes down her spine. Ileana's black tights and pink top fit snug to her 120-pound, 5-feet, 6-inch figure. Her black gym shoes wiggled during meditation. She developed this habit to keep her legs from falling asleep, sitting cross-legged on the floor. Then one day, a bright idea occurred to her. Why not meditate upside down in the air? It felt funny at first. Her long, sleek, straight dark hair fell toward the ground and her royal blue thigh-length cape hung a 16th inch from her hair. She loved meditating upside down. Blood rushed to her head, making her more intelligent. She circled the gold ring on her right wedding finger. All the girls at Hayden Magic School for Girls wore one. Ileana, who believed in fate, wore the ring out of Hayden School tradition. All third-order girls of the Order of Brave Women of Honest Blue, had to wear them. Ileana, this year, belonged to the Royal Order of Blue Brave Women of Joneses Lodge. The gold ring symbolized marriage to the male universal one God. The boys wore a gold ring, thicker in width, symbolizing marriage to the female universal one goddess. Daisy must have gone asleep again, Ileana figured. Ileana's corner lips turned downward. Normally, they remained up, giving a constantly sated, relaxed look to her face. Her small nose became the focus when the corner of her lips turned upward. Her nose's short length drew the attention to her big nut brown iris and black pupil eyes. It didn't look like Ileana had iris or pupil at all, just two big brown eyes staring back at you. Every instance, though, probably left one chance for something to occur. One girl from the Hayden Magic School for Girls might accomplish something grand. Ileana needed and wished to stop hearing about Hayden girls not achieving anything. Then suddenly Ileana shook her head, subtly. No. Meditation, known for its visionary episodes, brought in acute awareness of future and present long-distance events. And now something struck Ileana, as terribly round. Her right fist clenched. Her half-opened eyelids blinked rapidly. She murmured aloud, "That can't be. You'll be evil wizard, would not dare. Colton, her boyfriend, can't be that important. No. Daisy." A subtle gurgling sound came from the green scale, blue spiked pet dragon, once sleeping under Ileana's four-poster bed. Daisy wrapped her 6-inch body tighter around the 6 yellow-green pinball-sized eggs in her nest, consisting of Ileana's old sweatpants and shirts. If anything, Daisy was efficient, albeit a bit lazy, when it came to employing magic. Each girl, upon joining the school, in the First Order of Brave Women Parley, the Grey Order, had her choice of having a magic green dragon, ND, or a wand of deviations, WAD. Wands of deviation showed you increments of changes. You didn't have to feed the wands. The magic green dragons showed you what you misunderstood, before you applied your magic or after and you had to feed it. Magical green dragons ate, constantly and at midnight, silver energy crystals that the magical girl produced. Gold energy crystals satisfied the magical green dragons longer, but that took even more skills and power. As a last resort, the magical girl could let the magical green dragon feed off her excessive aura energy. And if you didn't feed your magical green dragon, they robbed you of your excessive, as well as needed aura energy. Ileana always fed Daisy. By showing Ileana or telling her what went wrong, Daisy returned the favor. She even took a human form at times to better get the point across. Daisy appeared like a short pixie hair blonde with funny Robin Hood-like shoes and black opera gloves. There was no mistaking Daisy in human female form. Her voice still had a high-pitched squeak and she agreed, nodding or murmuring her dragon gurgla sound. Daisy, though now, preoccupied herself with her brood of little dragonlets. Ileana shook her head a third time. Moo. This time her concentration broke. She fell out of her meditation, throwing a cushioned pink ball of light, breaking her 6-foot fall at the last second. Her royal blue thigh-length cape covered half her body and the rest lay off on the wooden floor. Chapter 2. Daisy awoke. She gurgled and turned her long neck outward away from the peach-colored wall her nest rests against. Her red iris and silver pupils glared from under the bed at Ileana still on the wooden floor. Now it'll take me a full hour to get back to sleep, Ileana. This had better be good. The green light reflected under the bed off Ileana gold medallion of wisdom. It's good, as it can get. Careful, Ileana. Don't overpromise like you normally do, Daisy warned, and she nudged her yellow-green 6 dragonlet eggs closer together for warmth. Daisy walked out from under the 3-foot space between the floor and the wooden bed frame. Ileana twirled her forefinger 3 times on the wooden floor and a silver crystal appeared. There. Just in case you think this isn't important. Daisy scooped up the whole diamond-sized silvery crystal between her green jaw and half-inch white teeth. She munched it 2 times and turned her head back up to Ileana. Ileana had folded her arms in front of her. She lay curled in the fetal position she dropped in and watched Daisy eating. Daisy gulped, 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 the remnants of the silver crystal down. 2 blue spikes on top of her head separated, lying flat. Ileana sighed. Okay. I'll give you a gold one. Ileana turned her hands 3 times clockwise and balled up her fist. She turned her fist down and opened her palm. In an instant, a 3-inch gold crystal ball glittered in the green suffused light. Now, we're talking feeding the hungry, Daisy replied. Daisy jumped on Ileana's hand and pushed the gold crystal ball onto the floor. The gold sphere went rolling away, as Ileana laughed. I'm not going to help you. You'll never grow stronger. Don't mock me, young lady. I've been around for thousands of years. I know things you'll wish I told you, and Daisy went chasing the golden sphere. She caught up to it. She pounced on it and slid on the other side. Her little dragon mouth opened wide, her teeth retracted, and she had it in her jaw and swallowed it whole like a snake. You always amaze me when you do that, Daisy. Daisy gurgled, still consuming the abundant golden sphere. In a minute, she spoke. Her belly looked like she'd have another dragonlet litter. Daisy waddled back to Ileana. I'm all ears. Ileana happily replied, I had a vision. You're of the fourth order of Hayden Magic School. Order of Brave Women of Joneses, the Royal Blues. It's about time. Ileana pulled herself up, spun around and sat cross-legged. Levitate just half an inch, Daisy instructed. Yeah, you are good for giving advice. Hanging upside down like clothes on a wash line is not. Daisy waggled her front paw and her 3 strong white claws fingers, a particular good use of energy. I saw a vision of Yule. Daisy smacked her right claw on her face and let it wash downward. Who hasn't seen a vision of Yule? He is only the arch nemesis of the Hayden and Jenny magic schools. Doesn't he hate Hayden's guts? He's such an arch nemesis he probably does have a pin of swords he tosses his victims into. All goes back when they painted the bathroom white. My granddad warned Hayden about that move millenniums ago. Ileana's jaw dropped. Hayden is that old. Jenny too. Daisy gave a little burp. Excuse me. That was a delicious spear. Yes. Jenny only doesn't mind looking her age. Hayden's. Daisy waggled her front right paw and finger claws again. Got a big streak still left in him. Yule is holding Colton prisoner in his castle. He wasn't detained like he sent on his want of deviation message. Castle Red Drake. Not a pretty sight or safe place to rest. How stupid of Colton to risk his life. I warn you that boy's love intentions ranked in the serious category. I can just see it now. You'll devise some crazy rescue plan that'll take me away from my unborn dragonlets. Dragonlets hatched and all alone at their birth guaranteed they'll be mean, spiteful, and controllable magical green dragons, not worthy of giving advice to Hayden Magic School girl or boy students. That's not all, Daisy. Ileana hesitated. Colton sent me a verbal thought. Yule is going to hold him prisoner until my 30th birthday. Marriage prevention. I'm not marrying until my 25th birthday. 3 full years in the future. Ileana waved her hand in the air and made a gold box face. Appear, Colton. Appear, don't call Yule. Daisy shook her little green and blue double-spiked dragon head. Yule will hear you and react. He's a master counterfighter. I'll have to rescue Colton. Daisy walked back in front of Ileana's big round face. Yule is counting on that. I can't sit by and do nothing. You've been doing nothing about Colton for 2 years now, Ileana. He told you he wanted to marry you. I'm not ready. Apparently, he is. TSK. Romantic cases like these scare Hayden and Jenny the most. The impetuous actions of hormones and youthful thinking. I'm in control of my impulses. I can wait 3 years, until I have a good position assigned to me by the Hayden Magic School. Ileana snapped her fingers 3 times and Colton came into view within the gold vision box. Cold roasting the dough over the fire pin again. Daisy shook her little head and walked around the gold vision box in a circle. Colton. Why didn't you wait? He's in love. He wanted to prove his courage to you, by tackling one of the vilest men in the history of Hayden and Jenny Magic Schools, replied Daisy. Just a second. Daisy went back to her nest and nudged the dragonlet eggs closer. You're a little rascal number 1, eh? Stay put. Ileana smiled. I can't ignore the evidence. Colton loves me. But I won't give in to marriage. I'm way too young. Daisy came back out. And women often give up on great accomplishments, because they are distracted by a martyring. Men are not all they're cut out to be, Ileana. I know. Something stupid inside me tells me life will be grand if I'm married someday. All you end with is children. What shall I do? What shall you do, Ileana? I'm thinking of a plan. While you're thinking of that plan, Ileana the lover, can I have another crystal? Daisy. I'm only a dragon. Daisy opened her mouth wide. Ileana twirled her little finger 3 times. Small one. You know those golden spheres usually last you for a week almost. Daisy stood on her high claws, showing her underbelly. I'm busy preparing for a feeding frenzy, or have you forgotten? 2 small ones. Daisy twirled her long green and blue spiked tail. There. My plan is to tell Hayden, then ask Wakia to postpone her wedding to Tom. You, Tom and I will go on the journey to rescue Colton, after I get Mistress of the Dark's blessing. Daisy crunched the 2 small silver crystallites for a minute. Her red iris and silvery pupils widen. You're actually going to Mistress of the Dark. Gulp, of course, I have no choice. I know Jenny is going to lecture me about being fuzzy-headed and allowing one of her students to want to prove his worth to me in courage. Daisy nodded. And I don't suppose you thought about whom will protect or keep my dragonlets warm, while we are gone gallivanting all over the magical galaxies? But you're supposed to help me. I am helping you. Pointing you in the right direction, Daisy pointed to the gold box, where Colton struggled wrapped in white bandages, tied up by a white rope, dangling over a fire pit. I get you off to a good start. You'll do fine. You're not supporting a sister, Daisy. Daisy paused. Take Zro, especially, if you're visiting Mistress of the Dark. Zro is always talking about things going on forever. I may be her sister in magic, but I don't like thinking it'll take eons to graduate. We have 1 year left and she treats it like it's a decade. Daisy rubbed her tummy. Those little crystallites hit the spot. Yeah, but Zro has talent. She's a serious sister. She's already vowed to never get married and use all her powers to do good someday. Every sister in the magical Hayden School for Girls got talent. I know. Point. I know. Chapter 3. Ileana stood. Looking at her black starlit desk, she turned. She got up and walked to her desk. The floating light fixture opened to a book on time travel and history of secret notions of magical universe. She slammed the book close. It's time I find out what is out there for real, instead of theory. Colton's probably right, a little. Watchful Daisy followed Ileana. He's overcourageous. He takes far too many risks. Look at the mess he's got you to get him out of. Ileana brushed her sleek black hair behind her royal blue cape. It is kind of romantic to go out and rescue him. I mean, if he wanted to get my attention, I'm listening. Oh sister, and Daisy sighed. What happened to bring in the girl a dozen roses? Maybe it's old-fashioned. Ileana looked around in her green suffused lighted room. Okay. Time for regular white light. She snapped her finger once. There. Where did I put my elemental shoulder purse? The one with the 4 crystallites in it? Daisy looked bashful. You didn't eat it whole? Of course not. Where is it, Daisy? Tell me. Daisy looked to the floor and back up. I left it behind your study desk. Ileana reached behind her study desk. She had to reach down very far. Then she stood and dropped to her knees and reached under the drawer section of her study desk. Got it. Ileana pulled it out and looked at the element purse. Not too worse for wear. She opened it. What happened to Colton's love letters? Daisy looked around mischievously. I ate those too. They had good aura energy from you. Oh sister, what am I going to do with you, Daisy? I thought of me and making you forget about him. You're way too young to get married. Daisy rubbed her face downward again. All right, I'll go along, if you forgive me. Ileana smiled broadly. I forgive you. Now, come along. We go to head schoolmaster Hayden's office first. Daisy hopped on Ileana's shoulders. As Elaine walked, Daisy clung tight onto her shoulder. Then Daisy walked to her left arm and hung there like a chameleon, blending her green and blue colors to the pink top long-sleeve shirt Ileana wore. Together, the two moved through the levitation gym room, past the metaphysics room, and down the hall by the elemental training room, and finally they entered the hall of mirror self and emerged in front of head schoolmaster Hayden's office. Another sister was coming out of his office in tears, her yellow hip cape flying behind her. However, as she turned the corner, she smiled and laughed to herself. Ileana watched her with curiosity. A lot of the girls wanted to play on head schoolmaster Hayden's sad feelings that girls would never do anything, because he was the only male they saw for most of the day. If they managed to make him feel differently, happier or sadder than when they went in, they counted it a victory. Of course, head schoolmaster Hayden must have noticed the ploy. Or was he too consumed in his decades-long battle with evil wizard Yule? Ileana knocked, even though the office door was half open. Come in, Ileana. How's our fourth-year girl of the Royal Blue Order of Joneses? You mean the Order of Brave Women of Joneses? Hayden nodded. Well said. You must always remember you are brave women. That's all we train at the Hayden Magical School for Girls. I've been thinking about that. How can I prove I am brave? I mean to myself. Well, you could go on a quest when you graduate. You could venture into the mystical planes and bring back some teaching for the school when you graduate, he said with a wry smile again. His clean-shaven face always wore a sad expression as he thought about the girls' future. All his training of the girls going down, wasted, in the future of life worried him immensely. It was enough to make any man abandon helping any girl. Hayden had a receding brown hairline. His left receding hairline stopped for a patch of hair in the middle, then his right receding hairline began. He had a portly figure and always wore a black starlight suit and white pants representing the sunlight. He wore black dress shoes. His clothes did distract from his constantly sad facial expression. I need to go on one now. Colton has been captured by Yule the wizard. Yule is a friend, not an enemy. He's an enemy now, Daisy said mentally to Ileana. Ileana said, he was our friend, but now he is an enemy. I guess the prediction of his irritation with the girls' curriculum has finally come to pass. Irritation. Hayden sighed. It's a long story. I'm sure your magical green dragon, wherever MGD has moved on your body, will tell you. Goes way back. Yule wants girls to be brave, but he says our curriculum is too easy. We never test you girls. You can only measure results by seeing girls do things. He vowed to create a test one day. So I'd be very careful, as he was a hard school teacher when at Hayden Magical School for Girls 75 years ago. I want to rescue Colton. You girls must give up these fairy tales about boys thinking highly of you. Boys are only looking for sex, physical affection at this age. It'll take years for a boy to mature. 30 years. By the time you're 30, Ileana, you'll find a great deal of positive eligible men. I don't want to marry Colton. I just love him as a friend. There are different types of love, as we've been taught. Playful love, friendship love, deep friendship, love of all, self-love but not narcissistic love, and long-lasting love. And right now your best friend Wakia is at the wedding chapel getting married to Tom. Eloped. Yes, only you can't elope if your parents know about it. She's much too young. Only a second year, the Yellow Robe Order of Finesse. The Order of Brave Women of Finesse, the Yellow Order. Hayden tossed up his hands. I tried to talk her out of it. Maybe you can do something to stop her. It's a big mistake. I'll pop over there right now. Ileana said, waved her hands in front of her belly in a circle and vanished. Chapter 4. Ileana watched as the priestess flipped the last page of the thin purple marriage book. She had a bright purple robe on, and just before she spoke, Ileana appeared and pulled Wakia aside. "Don't do this." "Hey," Tom shouted. "You can't stop us from getting married." "I protest. I protest this interruption, priestess." The priestess stared watchfully, as if she really didn't want Wakia to get married either. Heart-shaped face Wakia was one of the most beautiful girls in the Hayden Magical School for Girls. She had platinum blonde shoulder-length hair, a big nose and small eyes that smiled when her lips smiled. And her lips spread really wide and happy when she smiled. "I'm in love. I want to do this. I'm 21. I'm old enough to get married by 2 years, Ileana." Ileana pulled Wakia further away, then Ileana threw a gold light of privacy around them. Daisy climbed now from Ileana's left arm to Ileana's right shoulder. The green scale and blue spiked dragon shook her head. "No, you can't do this, because I need you, Wakia." "Oh Ileana, Ileana, you're so dramatic. It can wait a few seconds." Wakia looked back at Tom. He had a long handsome nose and a square face and jaw. "He's such a cutie. He's so smart and he wants to be a good dad." What boy his age talks about being a good dad? What about finishing magic school? Who says I'm not going to finish Hayden Magic School? Ileana opened a gold vision box into the future. "See, this is 2 years from now, the graduation class." Wakia looked at it fondly. I'm right. There, I'm over." Each time Wakia pointed, she found out the figure wasn't her. Her bright white thin-lipped smiling face hadn't graduated. Her cornflower blue eyes and long black lashes blinked hard. She looked again and again for herself. "There's Tom. Yeah, there's Tom. But where are you?" Wakia looked at the priestess. Tom's blue eyes implored for Wakia to come out of the gold privacy sphere. He brushed his yellow cape behind him with his right hand. "I love you so much," his thin lips mouthed. Both girls stood side by side looking into the future graduating class. Head Schoolmaster Hayden had that same sad expression on his face. You know why Hayden's expression is sad all the time? Because of his double receding hairline. Wakia declared. "No," Wakia said slowly. "Because we girls never accomplish anything significant. We just go off after all our hard training and get married. We have children and that's it. Our children will do something important, maybe." "Maybe," Ileana offered. "You earned this yellow cape around your neck." Wakia also wore an off-the-shoulder, beautiful white floor-length wedding dress with a 5-foot train. Chapter 5. "I need you to help rescue Colton. And then you're going to marry him." "Why is it okay for you, Ileana, to get married?" "I'm going to do no such thing." He foolishly went after Yol, the evil wizard, thinking to prove himself to me. All the boys boast of going after Yol. It's just a joke. Ileana waved her hands over the gold box of vision flowing in the air. The outline wavered. There he is, tied up, wrapped in white bandages, roasting upside down. Oh my. Yol is cutting him down. Wakia wiped her brow. Woo. Colton's of the 3rd year order of dark green, the courageous men upon us. No. Ileana threw her hand across her mouth. Wakia shouted, "He's throwing Colton in down a darkened pit." Ileana wanted to scream. "The pit's lighting up, Ileana." "Oh my. Oh, Yol's pit of swords," Daisy exclaimed. "And I thought the pit of swords was a myth." The 2 girls and Daisy the green and blue 6-inch long, 2 feet high dragon watched, as Colton levitated himself, inches before being impaled. "Colton's safe for now, Ileana. You can relax." Could you relax, Wakia, if that was Tom floating above a pit of sharp swords? "Oh my, of course not, Ileana. Tom is just of the yellow order. The courageous men of finesse. Neither can I relaxes. And Colton may be safe now, but what else is Yol going to do? He already killed one boy long ago. He's got a grudge against our schools, Wakia. He's against our sisterhood. We have to stop him, before it's too late. Wakia turned back to look at Tom. He had tears in his big blue eyes. The boy really does love me. Ileana vanished, the golden box of vision. He'll wait then. Wakia nodded. I'll tell him. Let me out of the golden sphere of privacy. Ileana waved her hands and the privacy sphere vanished. The priestess winked at Ileana. Quietness fell in the temple, as Wakia told Tom. Tom wailed loud. I hate you, Ileana. I hate you, Wakia. You've ruined my marriage plans. You're too young to be getting married, the priestess offered in Ileana's defense. You're both way too young. We're old enough. Or you wouldn't have agreed to marry us. He turned and stomped off. I won't marry you in 2 years, and not ever, Wakia, Tom said, turning back for a second. Daisy whispered a thought to Ileana. What I tell you? Hormones and youthful inexperienced thoughts. Give him 30 years, Wakia. Tom will come around. Wakia looked sad. I really loved Tom. I think I'm too young. I must graduate. I worked too hard to get into this school not to graduate. Who knows where in the universe the Hayden School of Magic will assign me? Who knows, nodded the priestess, gathering up all her marriage implements. Ileana hugged Wakia. Hey, I'm here on the front of her blouse, you know, shouted Daisy. Can you believe all the impropriety around here? Sorry, Daisy. Aren't you glad you chose the wand of deviation, Wakia? Not really. It didn't stop me from almost making a big mistake. That's because you have to use it for it to work, Ileana said. When you make a decision, hold the wand of deviation up in the air. If it twirls to the right, you know something is wrong. Twirls to the left, you're on the right track. If you speak to it, you might get an answer, but I can't tell you more. It's upper class studies. Wakia rubbed her fingers together and her clothes changed to beige capri pants and black top and floppy sandals. Then she changed her black top back to the top half of her off-the-shoulder wedding gown. Where to next? To pick up Zro, then get Mistress of the Dark's blessing. Zro was lifting a tall heavy boulder up on a waterfall. The water splashed down on her face. I'll be there in just a second, sisters. Ileana and Wakia watched, as Fourth Dark Green Order of Jumps' Row practiced levitation under stressful conditions. It was a physics class every Fourth Order brave woman took. The boulder came back perilously close to Zro's face. She rubbed her face with her hands to see clearly and pushed upward again. The huge boulder rolled up the water and finally over the cliff edge, stopping the water. I did it. You did it, Sisters Row, shouted Wakia. Very good for your third time, Ileana said. I finally realized that seeing over the edge, don't tell her, after I worked so hard to figure it out, Ileana. Zro wore a black one-piece bathing suit. She slugged out of the river, draining its water downstream. She reached the bank where Ileana and Wakia stood watching. I know this must be important, if you even brought love-struck Wakia along. Ileana only stopped me from making the biggest mistake in my life. I'll bet. Ileana does that often. Zro dried her legs and body using a royal blue towel. Only what's the price? What do you want us to risk for this bit of wisdom, Sister Ileana? Ileana showed her Colton halting his fall in midair over a pin of sharp swords in Yoel's red drake castle. You, Zro commented. If Colton stops levitating, that's going to hurt. If he breaks his concentration, Daisy replied. Wakia offered in sad voice. He wanted to prove something to Ileana. His courage, no doubt. He's foolish. Yoel taunts the boys more than he taunts the girls. I can't stay Yoel myself. I dedicated myself to accomplishing something grand simply because Yoel says we girls do nothing but get married. Can you believe that, sisters? Yoel's a jerk, said Wakia. He's just acting like all the boys and men expect him to. Showing off for them, Ileana said. Not to scare you two, but you know we've got to visit Mistress of the Dark to enter Yoel's realm. right, Zro? I was hoping you use your connections. Can we trust her, Mistress of the Dark? Wakia asked. She's only the most unpredictable and misunderstood force in the magical universe. She is only my first cousin. We can trust her, Wakia. Zro put her arms around Ileana and Wakia's shoulders. All three girls walked on the bank away from the wide river draining. Zro pressed her first two fingers together and instantly changed clothes. There. She wore thick cat-high shiny boots, good enough for climbing a mountain, and blue jean pants and royal blue dress shirt with long sleeves. Ileana and Zro's royal blue capes flapped in the wind and Wakia's yellow cape flapped between them. I would say we are off to see the wizard, but somehow I think the boys have said that once too many times already, added Ileana. I hope we get back in time for my dragonlet's hatching. You ever saw spiteful magical green dragon ladies? They answered, no. Hold on, everyone. Ileana made her golden vision box. They're Daisy. They looked and hatched. They are light green. Light green. It's almost time. You said their eggs turn green before they hatch. I know, but light green is just before the color, before they turn green and hatch. Daisy walked around back and forth on Daisy's shoulders, watching her dragonlet eggs under Ileana's bed in the vision box. You don't want to see spiteful magical green dragons, believe me, Daisy added. We'll be back in time, Daisy, Ileana assured her magical green dragon. That's what I wanted to hear. Well, we're off to see the wizard. And I hope he's got some crystals lying around to eat. All three girls laughed. Ileana, she waved her hands and spread her fingers wide, and the three girls disappeared from the Hayden Magical School for Girls School grounds into the invisible realm that vanished into darkest night. Chapter 6. Confident and unified in their mission, Ileana, Wakia and Zro arrived at the Cave of Darkness. Just a second, Ileana. Daisy crawled off Ileana's leg. Time for a change of clothes. Ileana, Wakia and Zro laughed. Zro corrected Daisy. Mistress of the Darkness doesn't care about how we women dress. Humph, that's what you think. Daisy ran around in a circle, going faster and faster before the Cave of Darkness. Then her human form appeared. Gee, it gets kind of tiresome going on all fours. The three women looked at Daisy. Their mouths fell open. Daisy appeared like a short pixie hair blonde with funny Robin Hood-like shoes and black opera gloves. Her voice still had a high-pitched squeak, and she agreed, nodding or murmuring her dragon gurgle sound. You girls are tough fashionistas. How about this? Daisy changed again. Are my brunette bangs messy? I really wanted this swath of straight brunette hair to fall next to my left eye, not over it. How's this gray top with my horizontal strip skirt? I have black exercise shorts underneath. The black gym shoes are not too much. It's, Ileana started to say. My royal blue cape's hanging straight. Daisy, the 5'4" human girl, turned around for a second before turning back facing the girls. You're absolutely, Wakia interrupted. Cape is straight. Dashing and stylish you are, Daisy. Zro finished off the compliments. Daisy turned around and put her hands on her hips. Dressing in green and blue all your life can cramp your color selection fashionista skills. You look positively cool, Daisy. Ileana smiled and added, I suppose I don't have to feed you now? Not yet, Daisy added with a wink. That gold sphere hit the spot. Loyal sisters. She'll be hungry in no time, Zro commented. What and ruin this figure. Let's go meet Mistress of the Dark. Away we go, cajoled Ileana. They rounded the corner and entered the Cave of Darkness. Spooky, isn't it, Daisy? Speak for yourself, Wakia. I think it is right after the stars in the sky disappear, honorable sisters. Ileana looked up inside the cave. Stars inside a cave? Amazing. Mistress of the Dark can do incredible things. Zro reinforced her connection to the powerful being. And she doesn't like drama. No girl fighting, strong sisters. No girl fighting. We're a team? Daisy quipped. We're a team, replied Wakia. There. Don't be alarmed but go holla, said Wakia, Ileana and Daisy stepping back on the cliff rock. It's okay, loyal sisters, Zro responded. Follow me. The girls followed in a straight line order behind Zro, Ileana, Daisy and Wakia. They walked on the dark nightly sky for 5 minutes before a voice spoke. Who goes there and why are you following my cousin, Zro, of the 4th Royal Blue Order of the Hayden Magic School for Girls? We need a favor, cousin, oblong-faced Zro started. You're captured, she turned back and pointed to Ileana's boyfriend Colton, and we need your help to rescue him. Sorry I can't do that, unless you do something for me. All the girls looked at one another. Ileana said, what can we 4 girls do for the great mistress of the dark? You got that right. I know the future, that is my past. I just want 2 little favors, though. 1. Repeat after me, women should not get married until their 32nd year. Zro turned to the girls after shrugging her shoulders. Just a small thing. Women should not get married until their 32nd year. Ileana said, okay. Women should not get married until their 32nd year. Wakia said, someone should have told me months ago. Women should not get married until their 32nd year. Daisy said, can't hurt. Women should not get married until their 32nd year. Mistress of the Dark added, all ideas of relationships with the opposite sex should be shunned, and in this way girls can attain the highest level of magic, the 5th degree. Zro looked at round-face Ileana, heart-shaped face Wakey and Daisy. All at once. The 4th Hayden Magic School for Girls repeated. All ideas of relationships with the opposite sex should be shunned, and in this way girls can attain the highest level of magic, the 5th degree. All the darkness remained and neither girl saw Mistress of the Dark. Second, Mistress of the Dark Raujila said, tell Yol to grow up and act his age. Stop charming the Jenny Magic School for boy students. Each of the girls laughed. So we have your blessing, Raujila? Yes, but no one but you can call me Raujila. Her voice boomed through the darkness. I am Mistress of the Dark to all the others. Don't tell Hayden his method of training the girls will always fail. There needs to be a focus on Hayden Girls' School on not getting married, or a focus of girls dedicating themselves to accomplishing something important at the school, for the girls anyway. Thank you, Mistress of the Dark, voiced Ileana. You're so kind, Mistress of the Dark, said Wakia. Gracious, you command and speak the truth, Mistress of the Dark. Don't test my patience, Dragauntlet. Mistress of the Dark bellowed. Zro hurriedly said, we are going now, cousin. They immediately appeared back in the Cave of Darkness. Then, when they stepped out, they had entered the realm of Yol and his red drake castle. Ileana exclaimed. That was fast. My first cousin doesn't play around. But really she's everyone's mom, not just my first cousin. Mom or not, Wakia looked over the landscape. That's some climb ahead of us. Dark reddish castle up on the peak of an impossible mountain to climb, and we have no rope or picks and axes, Wakia replied. Chapter 7. Ileana extended her palm forward, her fingers spread. Perfect climbing boots like Zro's coming up for everyone. Nice, said Wakia looking down. That's practical, Daisy replied. Daisy started and wiped her brunette hair from off her eyes. I should have left my hair pixie short. Why can't you just change it? Wakia asked. Only a human would say that. My dragon form contains all my change form energy. I'm stuck with this one until the mission is over. At least you're not as hungry, Ileana quipped and smiled. Zro pointed. Let's go, loyal ladies. I see the way up. Ileana, Wakia and Daisy followed Zro, who followed a red line up the rocky, jagged mountain cliffs. Wait. Ileana balled her hand into a fist and stuck her forefinger in it and pulled out a thick golden rope. Each of you wrap this around your waist. That way we can't break each other's fall. Good idea, smart sister Ileana, Rose said, taking the rope. Each of the girls, Wakia and Daisy and Ileana and Rose, secured themselves. They gathered in a circle and said a spell. First to last, together and all. Let no force break us from our call or make us Hayden Magic School girls fall. We are not supposed to use spells until our 5th year, Wakia cautioned and laughed. That's because most 4th year students haven't incorporated the truth. We live in a magical universe. Two people trying to achieve the same goal are automatically casting spells against one another. We 4 girls want to rescue Colton. That is a spell, just written and spoken against Yul. And Yul trying to keep us from rescuing Colton is casting an unwritten and spoken spell against us girls, Ileana expounded. What's fair for the evil is fair for the good, Daisy quipped, and gave a dragon gurgle laugh. They climbed for 2 minutes. Knee pads girls, Wakia shouted, mine are yellow. 3 of the girls materialized royal blue fig knee pads. If I was in my dragon form, this climb be a cinch. S, Rose said. Ileana stopped and tucked her pink top down over her black tights. I'm picking up something too, Rose. As am I, Wakia said. All one and the same. It's a large mountain wolf, Daisy said. All of a sudden a large creature ran out from the cliff and pounced. Ileana used two levitating high, threw a royal blue sphere around the girls and raised them just out of the mountain wolf's reach. Gee, he is big, Daisy said. Twice as big as a mountain wolf. Zro exclaimed. That's no normal wolf. It's a magical mountain wolf, Wakia explained. Look at the wile on its side. Yul, all the girls murmured. He knows we are coming, girls, said Ileana. He won't distract us from our goals, Zro boasted. We're Hayden Magic School for girls of the 4th order of royal blue and yellow, they all said in unison. You can't stop us, Yul, Ileana shouted. Daisy quickly added, we'd better keep climbing to make that certain. Quickly, the girls climbed, following the line, until they ended out on a thin ledge. Zro, Ileana said standing behind Zro. You said this was the way. It is. It was. Wakia voiced. It still is, Daisy confirmed. Zro looked around, her back tight against the mountain cliff. Tell us again, Ileana, why we are rescuing this boy called Ten? Wakia said. Wakia had tied her long shoulder-length platinum blonde hair into a ponytail. Her bright wide smile vanished at the start of the climb. Her wedding dress top, smeared with dirty red dust, didn't match her coppery pants. She materialized her sandals into sturdy white gym shoes. She loved the color white, but white didn't last long when climbing Red Drake Mountain. Because, he loves me and I love him. And she's not going to marry him. Daisy defended Ileana. This skirt is so impractical. But at least we are all girls making this climb. Thanks for the reassurance, Daisy, Zro added. Why do boys and men start all these wars? Asked Wakey. Women then have to resolve them. Testosterone. Daisy, Zro and Ileana replied. Ileana said, solemnly, because we are conditioned to want to save boys from themselves. You mean brainwashed, Wakia added. I mean I bet Hayden didn't even want us to rescue Colton. And I vote we go back. Mistress of the Dark was right. We should avoid all relationships with boys. Ileana vehemently responded, we can't do that, Wakia. We have to get our books from our lockers and go to the ladies' room sometime. We are bound to see a boy, Zro replied, while attending the Hayden Magic School for girls. We just need to get to the next ledge up. Ileana made her vision box. Oh my, said Wakia. Yul's put him in a tank full of sharks. How is he swimming? Zro asked. He's not. He's floating, Daisy offered, wiping the bangs out of her blue eyes. Ileana bent her cheeks. I'm brave. We are brave. Colton's courageous. Look, Zro pointed, he's feeding the sharks of their fish. Illusions of fish, Daisy said. Ileana, you're going to hate me for this, and I'm going to be mighty hungry afterwards. Ileana looked at Daisy the human girl, as she disappeared. I'm down here, Ileana. I'll be right back. Daisy scampered up the cliff rocks, the thick golden rope tied around her tail. Untie your rope or give me some more line, Ileana, she yelled back and kept climbing. Daisy went away for 5 minutes and came back. She yelled, I'm 3 levels above you. I found an opening big enough for us. I'm human again. You can climb up, but one at a time. Chapter 8. Ileana went first. I think I'm the best climber. Zro, you have Mistress of the Dark's blessing, so you go last. Ileana took off holding on to the rope. The air grew thinner and thinner as she climbed. She grabbed the footholds in the Red Castle mountain cliffs. Finally, after 10 minutes she reached the opening. Ileana. Daisy. The 2 girls hugged. I thought you'd go last, Daisy said. You crazy. Zro has Mistress of the Dark's favor. I needed to go next, before I got too afraid. I'm coming, ladies, Wakia yelled. We're up here, Ileana and Daisy shouted. Wakia joined Ileana and Daisy. Then Zro followed with the rope tied around her waist and the other 3 girls holding on tight to stop her from falling. Zro climbed up over the ledge. I must have something for cliff edges today. She laughed. That's it, Ileana said. Now to rescue Colton. If he's still alive, Daisy said. Wakia observed. He was looking weak in the shark-infested waters. Chapter 9. From her royal blue robe and sleek black hair and dirt-smudged up almond half-eyes, nut-brown Ileana looked like a champion Asian rock climber. A cold voice came down the mountain and into the cave. He's gone. Colton got tired. He didn't believe you girls come for him. He doesn't believe in girls being heroes. How can the Jenny Magic School for Boys even continue to exist training such weakling boys? Colton. We're coming. Ileana shouted. Grow up, Yul, shouted Zro. That's a message from Mistress of the Dark. Mistress of the Dark, eh? So that's how you got here so fast. He paused in his boasting. I'll just see about that. A large rumbling sound cascaded through the cave. The 4 girls looked at each other. Run to the opening, fast. All 4 girls, Ileana, Daisy, Wakia and Zro ran, sprinted, and dashed fast as possible toward the light of the opening. Just as they reached it, a large flood of silver marble balls rumbled toward them. Hurry! Ileana shouted, or we'll be swept away. All 3 girls jumped, dived, and threw themselves over the onslaught of circular metal. Except Daisy. Daisy. Dinner time. Daisy opened her hands and scooped up as many marbles as possible. She kept grabbing them as she flowed backwards. All 4 girls cried, Daisy. Daisy was gone. Then Daisy was back in her green dragon form gobbling up the marble crystals. This is heaven. I can't believe it. Daisy swallowed a path through the flood of metal balls until she reached the 3 girls Zro, Wakia and Ileana. She walked light with her full stomach. I haven't felt this full since I was pregnant. Daisy, all the girls shouted. You trying to scare the life out of us, if that were even possible. Ileana berated Daisy the magical green and blue dragon. Daisy looked bashful and changed back into human form. I needed something to refresh my energy. That was a welcome sight. Fate, destiny, I don't know what you call it, but it was timely. She looked around at the crystals, marble balls rolling out and colliding down the red bright mountain side. I think this black and white striped stretch pants is better attire for rescuing boys. Although, I do look a bit pregnant from all those crystals. All 3 girls looked at Daisy. Then they started laughing. They all put their arms around Daisy's shoulders. At least you changed your hair to a pixie brunette this time, Zro added. Wakia said, Ileana, give us a Colton update. Ileana made the gold vision box. There. He's sitting beside Yoel. You mean he's tied down to the chair in Yoel's torture chamber? She has a thing about romance, girls, Daisy offered. Romance, Ileana. We're here to save him, not get you two hitched, Zro ordered. We save him, then we go home, Wakia stated flatly. I can't believe this, Ileana. You're still fixated on him. What about us? What about yourself? What, if you die trying to save him? How can you graduate from the Hayden Magic School for Girls then? Daisy said slowly. Zro has a point. She's got more than a point, Ileana. She is telling you the truth. Get over this boy. He doesn't love you. At best, he's like Tom. He loves an idea about you. Not you the person. Your body is the idea he loves. He'll replace you like Tom is busy replacing me. All the girls remained silent, their arms crossed over their chest. It was a standoff. 3 girls against 1. Ileana understood how, even though she told Colton she wasn't marriage ready. Internally she still wanted his affection, or was it his attention? Why was his attention so important? She had Daisy, the magical green dragon, who offered excellent advice. Her best friends Wakia and Zro stood by her and joined the quests to save Colton. They didn't have to come. Ileana wondered, was she truly in love with Colton? Colton? He seemed childish at best. Rushing off into an adventure beyond his capabilities hardly proved his maturity. Training to love from an early age, was that the problem? Or had it simply come down to body conditioning? Her body's constant telling her month after month that some missing element in her lifestyle demanded a man. Something inside her loved the silliness of Colton's noble act to put himself at risk for her hand in love that translated to marriage. This fascination with Colton's act didn't improve his life chances, didn't improve her understanding of it all. She refused to marry Colton before he risked his life, and she'd refuse it again after saving him. Or would she? I'm simply rescuing a friend who made a mistake, Ileana replied afterwards. She gathered the magic rope and made it disappear back inside her fist. Done. Shall we go on, ladies? Ileana walked past them and deeper into a Yoel, the evil wizard's labyrinth lair. Chapter 10. Daisy, Zro and Wakia watched Ileana move forward past them, her royal blue, thigh-length cape flapping in her breeze. Daisy murmured, that young lady is in need of a cap on her heart of divine ordinariness. What? Said Zro and Wakia. She's in love and doesn't know it, Daisy said. And if we don't do something about it, Wakia said, she's going to confuse us all, every girl at the Hayden Magic School for Girls. Daisy said, there never was a more serious times to stop Caesar in his path of love. Zro added, with every heroic act, loyal sisters she or we make, Ileana will convince herself that this is love, action, chase, rescue. All 3 girls nodded and followed Ileana. Ileana screamed. Daisy, Zro and Wakia ran after her. She's gone. Zro said. Where? Wakia asked. Trapdoor, Daisy said, looking around. Look for her footsteps. There. Wakia said, pointing. Retrace her steps, Zro ordered. Back up and follow Ileana's steps. She started from about here, Daisy said. Zro walked in the path. The trapdoor opened. Wakia followed, falling in the trapdoor. Daisy walked and said, here goes something. Whoosh. A long slide took Ileana, Zro, Wakia and Daisy down into a Yoel's dungeon. They each sat trapped in a wooden chair tied to the other wooden chairs. Ileana quote chair tied to Colton's chair. Yoel's dungeon room walls and heavy wove rug hanging from the walls kept the color motif of royal red, copper, and dark gray. Colton said, I knew you rescued me, because you love me. I'm here as a friend, Colton. I'm not going to marry you. This was stupid. Yoel's heavy boots echoed through the dungeon room. Well, the girl heroines are all trapped in my lair as well. He circled the 5 and said, "Too bad you just don't understand the first thing about magic." "What's that?" asked Ileana, controlling your emotions. He talked around them and checked their ropes. "You see, every year, I test the Hayden and Jenny magic schools, and every year there is someone so stupid, so emotional, so he leaned way backwards in a flourish of the matador, in love." "What's wrong with love?" Colton asked. Ileana noticed Colton's face was bruised. He had several cuts and scrapes, but to her he was none the worse for wear. His talents in magic saved him so far. Yule pointed at Colton. "Boy, your talents in magic have saved you so far. Mistress of the Dark has a message for you, Yule. Grow up. We're just young adults trying to find our way like you once did. I never did fall in love, nor did I fall for the simple trappings and illusions girls throw before boys to entice them into decisions of lust. Girls don't trick guys," Wakia said. "We just try to please them." "Trick," Yule snapped his fingers quickly 3 times. "Woman has so many tricks. Why, they are as crafty as this little dragonlet." "Which one of you is her, the little green and blue dragon?" Chapter 11. All of them shouted, "None of your business." "Well, you see, ladies, I make it my business. Because these ropes are magical and will adjust to any, shall we say, transformations by getting tighter." Colton blurted, "Don't try to escape." "I tried it and nearly died." "Why did you come here, Colton?" Ileana asked. "What did you want to change?" "I love you, Ileana. I wanted you to love me back. Take me seriously." "How foolish!" Zro yelled. "You've endangered us all, especially my loyal sisters." "Now how to resolve this?" Yule said. "I'm going to offer you a way out." "Ha!" Ileana shouted. "You're not going to offer us a way out, but ways of making us harm ourselves." Yule's eyes widened. "True. Very true. You see, if you girls quit the Hayden Magic School for Girls, I'll let you all go." He paused. "Even stupid lover boy here." All 4 girls looked at one another. Together they said, "Never." Yule clapped his hands hard in front of his chest. "We are getting somewhere. You see, that Colton, lover boy. My plan has worked perfectly. The girls will never quit. Which means, Colton, you'll never get married or find love with these Hayden girls. And it means I would have proved my point to Hayden. All girls must be forced to stay single. Forced to forfeit love. That is the only way to create great female magicians." Ileana knitted her brow. She knew exactly what Yule's big purpose was. He wanted to toughen up the girls in the Hayden School for Girls, but why? "Why do you care if girls make it to the highest levels of magic?" Yule grew angry. "Because I had a sister once, who stupidly fell in love, and now all she does is raise children. She's practically forgotten all she learned." He raised his forefinger into the air, pointing toward the ceiling. "I vowed that day, when they stupidly painted both the girls' and boys' bathrooms white, to get my revenge every year." Yule's dark hair fell across his bangs. His fine physique easily troubled the 3 girls. His deep voice pulled on the girls' feminine instincts. Every will in their being struggled to remain committed against Yule's words, motions, emotions and antics. Yule continued. "And I have." Ileana grew tired of Yule's antics. She mentally spoke to Daisy. "Tell all the girls to throw a privacy gold shield around the other girls. We'll be 3 gold shields thick." Daisy mentally talked to all the girls. They concentrated and threw a gold shield around each other. "Phase 1, said Ileana. "Now that we can talk, we can escape. I say we blow a hole in the wall and shoot Yule out of it like a cannonball," Zro said. "Or we could materialize him into a witch's jar," said Wakia. "What about simply escaping to the Cave of Darkness?" Ileana said. "I like the Cave of Darkness idea," Daisy tossed in. Zro added, "I think Mistress of the Dark would protect us. We're sisters after all." Yule looked at the girls talking. He looked frantic. The long dimple in his chin trembled. He looked like a little schoolboy. Stop that. What are you saying? I didn't give you girls permission to gossip in private, he yelled. He shook his fist. I'm your instructor. What about Colton? Can we pull him in with us? Ileana said, I don't know. He's a boy. Wakia, I know you agree with me. We are kindred spirits. You almost got married, Yul explained. You know how deceptive boys can be, lying, saying they love, when it is really lust. Wakia hesitated. Don't listen to him, Ileana said. He is a man, a boy. He's lying to you. Ileana's right, Rose said. All Yul wants is to protect himself. Get what he wants for himself? He'll spurn you like my dragon mate did, Daisy said. I'm left rearing my children all alone. My children. We've got to get back. We need to get out of here fast, Ileana said. Zro asked, better include throwing a protection or travel spell over Colton, or this was all a big wasted of effort. Wakia said, I can do protection spell. That's my specialty. Wakia threw a protection sphere around them all. All the 4 girls repeated, women should not get married until their 32nd year. All ideas of relationships with the opposite sex should be shunned, and in this way girls can attain to the highest level of magic, the 5th degree. What is this gibberish you girls are chanting? Yul tousled his short black hair. He bunched up his face in frustration. Women should not get married until their 32nd year. All ideas of relationships with the opposite sex should be shunned, and in this way girls can attain to the highest level of magic, the 5th degree. Stop it. Women should not go to magic schools in the first place. They belong in the home. Women should not get married until their 32nd year. All ideas of relationships with the opposite sex should be shunned, and in this way girls can attain to the highest level of magic, the 5th degree. I will you to stop repeating that nonsense. You cannot gain power over me. You cannot. I'm a trained 5th degree magical. I have experience. The last thing Ileana, Wakia, Daisy's Ro and Colton heard was Yul the evil magician screaming at the top of his lungs. Chapter 12. Ileana, Ro, Daisy, Wakia and Colton appeared in the Cave of Darkness. They were still tied, but Zro called out, Mistress of the Dark, free us. You're in my realm. Yul's magic's lost all its potency. Go and don't fall in love, girls. Colton, you wore down my patience. You cannot force a girl or trick a girl into loving you using words or actions. Yul's ropes disappeared into coppery dust and faded into the dirt of the Cave of Darkness. All the girls got up and rubbed their wrists and ankles and waist. We are free, Ileana said. Thank you, Zro. I don't know what we'd do without Mistress of the Dark. Zro smiled. You know, I'm coming to see that love is potent magic, if used the right way. Wakia, I'm not getting married until my 32nd year. Colton blushed. I'm terribly sorry I put you through this, Ileana. I thought I had talent. But I was outmatched by Yul. He's a tricky bastard. Right now out of my league, but just you wait. Daisy said, oh brother, not again. Can we get a diet of testosterone, Colton? You've caused enough trouble. Zro, Wakia, and Elaine laughed. Ileana said, Colton, I rescued you, because I love you, as I love everyone. It's a love for a fellow student, a fellow magi scion, a fellow human being on the journey to enlightenment. That's the only way I can love you, Colton. Accept it or leave it. Accepted, Colton said. My view of love was so narrow. It allowed me to be manipulated into fighting or trying to fight against Yul. How do we get home? You don't really want to know, Zro said. Colton answered, I hope we're not walking. Magic, Wakia said. Everyone laughed. Back at the Hayden Magic School for Girls, Hayden asked for Ileana, Zro, and Wakia to come to his office. I want to thank you girls for proving your talent. The training you received is not going to waste. I've renewed faith in you girls, every one of you that is enrolled. It's not going to waste, Ileana confirmed. We realize you never know if we girls are going to dedicate ourselves to anything. That's what you'll be, evil wizard implied. We needed a challenge to make us focus on staying in school. He believed in the process of stopping girls before they gave up their agency to relationships and marriage. I believed in the results of graduating girls from the Hayden Magic School. Today, Yoel's been right. Graduating girls doesn't mean they'll accomplish anything in the world, move the world, and change the world. I might have to change the curriculum a bit, Ileana said, but Hayden, in typical contradictory fashion, when we were leaving he said, girls can't be better than boys or him. He's a trained 5th-degree magician. Hayden rubbed his chin. His face seemed much brighter and not as sad. His starlight black jacket lay on the back of his chair. He wore a white dress shirt that matched his white light pants and black shoes. He's right. How did you escape? With a little help from another powerful sister, Mistress of the Dark. Mistress of the Dark? She really exists? Of course, she really exists, Zro added. She's my cousin. Hayden went to his file cabinet and pulled out Zro's file. HNNNM. Never saw that before. He looked up at Zro and the rest of the Hayden Magic School for girls before him. Says right here, Zro's cousin is Mistress of the Dark. How did I miss this? Yet, Zro added for emphasis. But according to the legend, she is everyone's cousin. Everyone's mom. How did you get a personal relationship terms with her? Meditate. Zro smiled. Anyone can do it. It's just not on the Hayden Magical School curriculum. Hayden rubbed his eyebrows. I'll just have to change that. Any enemy of evil wizard Yoel is a friend of mine. Hayden had a tear in his eye. You girls have made me proud to be your head schoolmaster. So often I've watched promising girls come in and leave and become housewives. We won't become housewives, Mr. Hayden, Wakia replied quickly. We'll do something important, promise, Mr. Hayden, Ileana said. Will that be all, Mr. Hayden? We have an urgent matter to attend to. For today. But don't go boasting about beating Yoel. It'll stir up the boys' competitive energies. It's known all over, now, Zro said. We beat Yoel, the evil wizard. Daisy said quietly, I wanted to ask about painting the boys' and girls' bathroom white. Was that true? Terrible idea. Change can be a very bad thing, when things are going right, Daisy said. I don't recall your face, Miss Daisy. I've been around a long time too. Dedicated girl magicians are often overlooked. Ileana, Zro, and Wakia laughed. Right, Hayden said, baffled. I am pleased to hear, Wakia, you postponed your marriage to Tom. Sometimes the influence of another's emotions can get the better of you. But never again. That's the good, determined Hayden Magical School for young girls spirit. You bet you, Ileana and Zro said together. You girls can go now. He paused, as he watched them leave, and welcome back. Chapter 13. Daisy ran out of the office. I'll see you later in class, Ileana. Daisy winked and sprinted off. What's she on about? Zro said. She's my magical green dragon. Remember? Zro looked confused. She's got a dragonlet, ready to hatch, Wakia said. All three girls looked to one another. I got it this time, Ileana said. She spread her hands and pushed, and the girls vanished back into her room. Surprised and happy, the three girls practically crawled under Ileana's bed to see the event. All the dragonlet eggs had changed from yellow-green to regular green. Daisy curled around the nest of Ileana's old sweatpants and shirts. Daisy walked around and nudged each of the 6 dragonlet eggs, as they cracked bit by bit. That's just to let them know I'm here. Worst thing for a dragonlet baby is to come into the world without its mom around. Ileana's round face, Wakia's heart-shaped face and Zro's oblong face stared in fascination, as the first of the green dragon eggs cracked and a light clawed green foot broke free. Then another foot broke free. Oh my, Wakia exclaimed. This is my first live bird scene. Mine too, Zro added. I wonder how soon, before they can do magic. That'll take about a year or two, Daisy replied by nodding at her head. Her mental voice went out and her two blue dragon spikes on her head separated. She pushed the green egg from the side, and the little dragonlet popped out its head. Ileana said, look at that. Red iris and silver eyes just like his or her mum. All the girls said, all what? The dragonlet pushed harder and rolled to his feet and looked around at the three big human faces. Its face was confused. Then it turned and saw Daisy. Daisy made a gurgling sound. The dragonlet rushed over the cracked green eggshell and rubbed its head against Daisy's head and chest. Daisy inspected the little dragonlet to see if all its limbs and spikes were there. What is it? Elaine asked. Girl or boy? Can't you tell? Daisy said. Don't try to confuse her. It's a girl, said Wakia. I wonder can I have it? My deviation wand isn't doing the job. Zro spoke, maybe it wants to pick who'll own it. Now wait a minute, Daisy made an angry, snarling face. Dragons are not owned by anyone. They decide who they'll help, if asked. Right, Ileana? Ileana nodded. That's how you get the best advice, girls. Not ownership, but partnership. Shucks, I want one now, too, Zro said. You girls made your choice, Daisy said in thoughts. Ileana asked, can I hold it, Daisy? I don't know. Okay. Only, if she wants you, to. Daisy rubbed noses with the little dragonlet and it walked over on its stronger four dragon legs toward Ileana's big round face. She's got no idea you're more than a big head at this point, Ileana. So don't scare her by picking her up and standing far off the ground. That's so cute, Wakia said. Ileana held out her hand. She smells your scent on my hand. Yeah, well be careful not to scare her. Ileana let the little dragonlet walk around on her hand. The dragonlet's eyes stared at the big moon-faced girl with the straight slick black hair and half-almond eyes, big nut brown eyes. She curled up in Ileana's hand for a second and then darted back to her mum. Ileana exclaimed, that makes me want to. Remember your promise, Ileana. 32nd year, Zro finished interrupting Ileana. All the girls faced each other and stuck out their hands under the bed and together said, to our 32nd year and doing something grand in the world. Hey, wait for me. Daisy rushed over and stuck her tiny green three-pronged white dragon claw into the pile of right hands. Not too loud, though, Daisy cautioned. To our 32nd year and doing something grand in the world, they all said. And so it begun, the adventures of the